Good evening and welcome to this evening's award presentations. I'm sorry you can't be with us in person, but tonight we'll be live streaming the events from Stone and Chalk with each of our judges in attendance. It's a first live streaming event for us, and so here's hoping. A little about the format. After this brief introduction, I'll ask each of the judges to say a few words about the key elements of one of the categories and to announce the winner. And then, the magic of Zoom permitting, we'll turn on a representative of the winning organisation, video and audio, so that they can say a few words of thanks and about their team. That's usually the way it works. If you're a winner, please remember to unmute yourself. But firstly, a few words about the awards. This year we've had more entries than ever before, and I take this as evidence of both the broadening of the use of managed accounts by investment managers and licensees, and also a deepening of the resources which licensees and investment managers bring to the creation, construction and management of portfolios. There are over 70 entries in this year's awards. Some organisations entered in multiple categories, some just in that one category in which they were a specialist. Many of the portfolios were created as a way of servicing an organisation's own clients. But increasingly we're seeing organisations which use managed account structure in preference to or as well as unitised or pooled vehicles as a way of creating services for third-party advisors, and I can only see that growing. Managed accounts create a degree of connection which links retail investors through their advisor to an investment manager and directly with a specific portfolio that's managed in a way which is appropriate for their personal goals. Among the interesting insights that the awards have given me, the range of business models of the organisations who've entered. Amongst the finalists in this year's awards are those who are primarily advice businesses. Some are advisor-owned and self-licensed, where the portfolios represent their individual investment philosophy. Some are dealer groups or larger licensees, where the managed account represents a fundamental view of how advice services can be delivered in a structured and systematic way by individual advisors. Some are serving only wholesale clients. Some are multinational organisations employing tens of thousands of advisors and investment professionals throughout the world. And in Australia, this is their chosen vehicle. Amongst investment managers, some are smaller specialist managers built on the capabilities of a smaller team, while others bring global capability in this area. In summary, managed accounts, it seems to me, and the awards show, have democratised investment management. And you'll see from the winners, global scale is no prerequisite to being selected as a leading provider in each category. Before we get underway, I'd like to thank a few people. The judges put enormous effort into assessing the entries. Each of them is directly involved personally in constructing managed account portfolios and brings a depth and experience to their evaluation of each of the entries. They're keenly aware of the considerations that go into constructing portfolios that have this very direct engagement with retail clients. Those judges are Amanda Munro, who works with IMAP as chair of our portfolio management group, Nigel Douglas, Brad Matthews, Dominic McCormick, Dragana Timothyevich, and me. But lastly, this evening would not have been possible without the support of two organisations in particular. BlackRock have sponsored the licensee category since we commenced. This year, they've provided access to Aladdin, which is BlackRock's global institutional scale tool for risk and factor analysis of portfolios. And we used that Aladdin capability as part of the assessment criteria for the licensee category. And FE Fund Info provided the quantitative analysis of all the portfolios that were submitted in any category, and we thank them for that. Now, lastly, I should say that the entire event is made possible by the hard work of Jenny Pimlett, who's part of the IMAP team, and I personally thank her a lot. Now, it's my pleasure to invite Amanda Munro to speak to the first of the awards categories, Australian Equities.
Thanks, Toby, and welcome to all the participants online. I'm sorry we're not here in person because those who have been to this event before knows that there are drinks afterwards, and it's often a great chance to have a chat more informally, which is not quite as easy online. Nevertheless, that shouldn't take away from the kudos of the winners tonight. So, as Toby said, the first IMAP award tonight is the Australian Equity category, and there were many entries for this category. The quality of the entries was very high indeed, and even getting into the finalists was hotly contested. There were many fine entries that didn't even make the finalists. So the finalists you can see up on that slide there being Antares Equities, Blackmore Capital, ECP Asset Management, First Century Investments and Infinity Asset Management. Well done to all of you. They all did excellent jobs with their submissions. The ultimate winner, which was hotly contested, I have to say, has an investment team that was modest in size, but it had a clear structure and a clear delineation of responsibilities with some inbuilt flexibility. Investment theses are debated amongst the team members, which meant that everyone's knowledge was used in investment decisions and also mitigating key man risk. Coming through strongly in the winner's submission was that this manager knows their investments inside out. They're very strong on visiting the companies. They talk to the competitors, the customers, the suppliers, other industry bodies, and they have a real commitment to keeping abreast of all sorts of third-party information to do with their companies. This was a key strength for this submission as well. As far as investment considerations go for the winning manager, they really strike a balance between qualitative considerations, and they dealt with ESG's place in the process. They had a very well articulated position on that, and also quantitative information. And it was pleasing to see that they focused on balance sheet and cash flow as well as P&L issues in looking at in looking at company financials. Their investment risk is well dealt with both at a company level and in the individuals. I wanted to call out that client communication was generally strong across all the submissions. I thought it was excellent, but this manager certainly was no exception either. Now, without further ado, then I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the 2020 IMAP Australian Equity Award is Blackmore Capital. And I believe we have a representative from Blackmore Capital to talk to us.
Thank you very much for this award. I hope you can hear me clearly now. We're absolutely delighted of winning this award. I very much appreciate what you've touched about IMAP and managed accounts. Managed accounts has allowed our business to form. It has democratised the industry, as you suggested. And we like the strong connection we have with our investors and the ability to communicate that and for them to be able to see their portfolio in entirety all of the time. I'd like to thank my team, particularly Richard Cahoon, for providing that. We do deep industry work both at a capital, at a company and an industry perspective. and that has helped us provide us generating really appropriate risk-adjusted returns for our investors. So thank you very much for being an industry leader and allowing us to participate in this award.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Brad Matthews, who will say a little about the Australian equities small cap category.
Thanks, Toby. The small cap category, I think, is probably one of the more difficult ones from a investment manager's perspective to run a managed account. Small caps, as you know, are characterised often by low liquidity and often by very wide bid-offer spreads. So even if your stock selection is really strong, managing a managed account in the small cap universe can be pretty challenging. And I think what we found with the finalists there, you can see on the screen, all 4 of them really responded to those challenges well and have produced very solid and very competitive managed accounts in that smaller company space. In terms of the winner was performed well right across all the different attributes we looked at. They had a very clear philosophy, a very well articulated process which was highly repeatable. Their customer communication was very clear and again highly consistent, written in a manner that could be understood by retail clients. Their risk controls were very strong. They had the benefit of having independence within their structure, managing some of those risk controls as well. Probably the clincher for this manager was just their consistency of performance and the consistency of the alpha produced by the strategies. In fact, the manager was so consistent that this has been the 2nd year in a row in which they've won this category. The winner of this year's Australian Small Companies Managed Account Award is Macquarie Investment Management. We'll now hand over to Brad Partridge to say a few words. Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Look, on behalf of Macquarie Investment Management and the team here, it's wonderful to win this award. We'd like to thank IMAP, but also congratulate the other finalists in this small cap category. As Brad mentioned, we've won this before. It's actually our 3rd successive win in the small cap space. So, you know, we're really proud of that consistent performance outcome, and to get the trifectas, you know, really special for our team. Look, at Macquarie, we've always been really excited about managed accounts, and that continues. We're seeing the growth in the industry, and it's really exciting. We're obviously very excited about the small caps part of the market as well. So thanks again for this award.
Thanks very much, and congratulations to both Blackmore Capital and to Macquarie Investment Management in their respective categories. It's now my pleasure to ask Dominic McCormack to say a few words about one of the emerging categories, international equities.
Thanks, Toby. The international equities category saw some significant changes in the makeup of submissions compared to last year. In 2019, all 6 finalists were Australian-based, essentially boutique organisations. As you can see from this year's finalists, that number is now 2 out of 6. We are clearly seeing more of the big global fund managers offering and promoting their equities capabilities via the managed account space and bringing significant resources to the process. The winner this year is a manager that has produced excellent international returns, but surprisingly did so without holding the much loved or perhaps hyped FANG plus Microsoft stocks. However, I did notice in looking at a older portfolio that they owned Salesforce, a $250 billion stock that rose 26% or $50 billion in market value last night. Certainly impressive, but indicative of the crazy market times we're in. So that winner today is one of those bigger global fund managers, and also one that has got quite a bit bigger just recently, Franklin Templeton. Now I'd like to hand it over to Manny Demianakis. Hope I got that right, Manny, from Franklin Templeton.
Thanks, Dominic. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
And I just wanted to say a big thank you to IMAP and thank you to Toby for encouraging us to submit our application. It hasn't been that long that we've offered this solution, and it's been, we're really pleased we've got this in market now. It's great to work with different advisors, and from our point of view, it's really opened up, definitely some opportunities to work with groups that we haven't worked with in the past. And the performance has been strong. The investment team is really good to work with teams based in New York, but we've also got one of the portfolio managers based here in Sydney. So they'll be absolutely ecstatic about the win. So thanks everyone, and look forward to working with IMAP and the team more. Thank you.
Congratulations to Franklin Templeton. Foresight, clearly part of their skill set. Manny left AMP some time ago. Look, it's now my pleasure to hand over to Dragana Timotijevic, who will talk about the multi-asset category. This is actually a central part of the emergent managed account universe. Dragana.
Thanks, Toby. So this year we had 17 entrants, 7 of them made it to the finalist list. It's been well documented and acknowledged in multi-asset category asset allocation, and specifically strategic asset allocation, is the major source of value add. It is estimated that it's majority, like 2/3, if not more, value add in multi-assets comes from strategic asset allocation. And we're all aware of the difficulties with trying to add value through shifting asset classes or sectors too dynamically. And this market environment, and I mean not just COVID, during COVID, but pre-COVID, has been quite testing for the asset allocators. Because of the importance of asset allocation in this category, we have specifically focused on the clarity of the investment philosophy around the sources of value add and the manager's approach to asset allocation. And we chose Infinity. So the winner for this year is the Infinity. We like the way they articulated their approach and the way they structured their process to implement it. And specifically, we were impressed with the fact that they've been actually tracking the performance of different sources of value add. So now over to Infinity. A few words.
Well, it's a great honour from our end, and firstly, I'd just really like to thank IMAP, you, Toby, thank all the judges, and Jenny particularly, obviously, for a lot of the hard work that she does behind the scenes. BlackRock for their support, not only of the awards, but particularly for IMAP. We feel really strongly within our business as it relates to managed accounts. And finally, just like to thank the rest of the investment team. It's a real collective effort here, and we couldn't have done it if we hadn't all worked hard together. So, as I said, great honour, and terrific to be awarded the winner.
Congratulations to Piers and the Infinity and Viridian team. Last year, Viridian was the winner of the licensee category, and it's great to see them backing up in multi-asset class, such an important part of managed accounts. Now it's my pleasure to ask Nigel Douglas to talk about the fixed interest category, the last of our asset classes.
Okay, thanks, Toby. Fixed interest is quite challenging to do in managed accounts, and that's probably reflected in the relatively small number of entries we had in this asset class. However, we have seen some improvements compared to previous years, and really what we're looking for are managers that stick to the fundamentals of fixed interest. You know, they have diversification in their strategies, they have are conscious of risk management, and they implement that effectively. And we're also looking, of course, for stability of leadership and consistency in performance. And as we all know, in the fixed interest market in recent years and recent months, we've had a lot of volatility. So that's been a good test of these managers. So you can see the finalists that are listed there, and I can announce that the winner was Real Asset Management, which demonstrated capability across the criteria I mentioned. And I'd like to introduce Michael Frierson, the portfolio manager, to say a few words.
Thanks to the IMAP judges for hosting the awards during such challenging times. And thanks on behalf of Real Asset Management, we're obviously very pleased to win the award for the third consecutive year. So at Real Asset Management, we specialise in boring. And that sounds quite boring, but with fixed income, that's very important. And we focus on delivering reliable income for investors in all of our fixed income and property strategies. So thanks again to IMAP, and hopefully we'll see you next year for some drinks.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Real Asset Management, who've again taken out the fixed interest category. As Nigel said, it's a category which we'd like to see more entrants in future years. Now, the next category is the licensee award, and for me, this has always been the critical category in managed account awards, because managed accounts, whether SMAs delivered on platform or MDAs, are in effect implemented advice. In this category, we look not merely for the performance of the portfolio and the depth of resource which the organisation is able to bring to bear, but we look for the way in which the objectives of the portfolio are set out for advisors and for retail clients. We look for the way in which the portfolio appears to be built around an advice philosophy, and the way in which the supporting materials, for example, which we give more weight to in this category than in others, articulate the decisions and of the portfolio managers and the performance of the portfolio from quarter to quarter or over longer periods. How well does the portfolio express the investment philosophy of the organisation? Is a retail client likely to feel that they have an engagement with the portfolio and that it's part of their advice relationship? Do they feel that it's constructed to take advantage of the organisation's strengths to achieve their personal goals? This year's finalists were Atticus Wealth Management, Crystal Wealth Partners, GPS Wealth, Viridian Advisory, Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, and Royston Capital. As I mentioned before, we've been lucky enough to have BlackRock involved in this category and to make available their institutional capability in Aladdin to analyse the portfolios. And it's now my pleasure to introduce Chantel Giles, Head of Wealth and Banks for BlackRock, to say a few words and announce the winner. Chantel.
Thanks, Toby. It's been a great privilege to be part of the IMAP Awards over the past 3 years. I'd also like to thank James Kingston, who leads our BlackRock Portfolio Analytics and Solutions Group, affectionately known as BPAS, for the efforts in running the portfolios through Aladdin. We set up the BPAS team in BlackRock Australia around 3 years ago, and really the objective of that team was to help our clients build better portfolios. Through these challenging times with volatility and uncharted territories, we believe that risk management and risk governance is more important than ever. BPAS ran the portfolios of the finalists through our proprietary risk system, Aladdin, and provided the judges insights into the portfolios and the risk factors of the decisions that the investment managers were making. I'd like to thank the judges, also the finalists and IMAP for allowing us to be part of the judging process. We really learned a lot through that process of how the linking of investments and advice plays into the role of financial advisors and wealth management firms. So I'd like to, with great pleasure, announce the winner, who is Morgan Stanley Wealth Management Australia. And I'd like to invite Nathan Lim to say a few words. Thank you.
morning, guys. Toby and Chantel, thank you very much for those kind words. It's very much appreciated. I just first of all have to acknowledge the support of Ian Chambers, who made this happen. His faith and confidence in my team to deliver what we set out to achieve really underpins the success that we had today. I want to thank my crew, Alex Ventalong. He is very much the yin to my yang and part of the senior leadership. Also Wayne Chatterjee, Sharmil Suka, Sophie Egan, and our secret weapon, Christine Matai, who keeps us on top of our game every day. And of course, my wife, Claire. She takes on life for me, so I can really focus on the job. Without her love and support, none of this is possible. When I reflect on the journey that brought us here, I think the aspect that most stands out most for me is the commitment to the craft that every member of my team lives by. Each day we come to work embracing the key values of the firm, to put our clients first, lead with exceptional ideas, do the right thing, give back, and embrace diversity. This award is very much theirs as well, and I gladly accept it on their behalf. So thank you very much, IMAP, for recognizing our hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Nathan, to you and your team at Morgan Stanley. So the last category is innovation. Unlike the other categories, which are pretty structured in their submission process, this one is deliberately unstructured. Entries simply have to address two questions. In what way is your submission innovative, and in what way does it advance the use and adoption of managed accounts? As a result, we get entries which span a broad range of areas related to managed accounts. And that's exactly what we are after. There's unlikely to be an entry so earth-shatteringly novel that it transforms the whole of managed accounts, because there's a lot of organisations, each working very hard on incremental advances so that their offering creates higher utility for their clients. Innovation isn't just technology. It spans process, it spans product design, it spans investment management, it spans customisation of the investment process. And the finalists are going to be on screen in a moment, but I'd like to quickly run through the areas that they covered. Colonial First State applied managed account thinking and technology to trustee-directed portfolios. FinClear brought an end-to-end technology process built around directly held securities to MDA services. Milliman developed a cost-effective way of allowing clients and their advisors to obtain portfolio protection in a very flexible way. Morgan Stanley consciously built a way of demonstrating the use of offshore listed vehicles that offered access to investments otherwise unattainable by Australian investors so easily or so cheaply, or with really well-measured transactional benefits. And it also enabled them to deploy a global research capability directly into Australian managed account portfolios. Nucleus for a direct retail client base, perhaps the only online entry in this category, developed a way of demonstrating the trade-offs and alternatives which clients can make from standard portfolios supplemented by ESG filters that each client is able to apply in their own portfolio, and which take advantage of the transparency of managed accounts. This capability has been a long time in development, but hasn't the general market environment moved in that direction. And finally, Praemium, as the last of our finalists, also in the ESG area, have developed filters which enable advisors, as part of their advice process, to create unique portfolios, which again make it clear the client impact that the choices each client makes will have on their portfolio. The winner is Milliman. We selected Milliman because the Smart Shield facility was purpose-built to work with managed accounts. It's designed to provide protection at reasonable cost and to be able to be applied or removed at the client's or their advisor's discretion. And so now it's my pleasure to invite Nigel Crampton to take the stage. Nigel is Head of Managed Accounts for Milliman, an interesting example of an organisation that, while not directly in advice or directly an investment manager, has adopted and embraced managed accounts. Nigel, congratulations.
Thanks, Toby, and I just want to make sure people can see everyone okay. Yep. Look, I also just want to have a shout out to Jenny, who's, I think, coordinated an exceptional event tonight. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes for IMAP, and I think you guys, it's a real credit the fact you've had more entries than ever before. So thank you, and I'm pleased your recognition is getting broader. To win the inaugural award for innovation is really exciting for us. It's kind of ironic that, you know, an actuarial firm wins innovation. You know, when I went to school, if you're really good at mathematics, you may not have been so creative. I think we've challenged that theory. But you know, we're obviously pleased to be here and deliver the solution. I know that Wade Madison, who's the founder of the Australian business, will have the team take the credit. But in all honesty, Wade, who founded the business 20 years ago, has done an enormous amount of work, contributed extremely well to the advice industry during that period of time. So Wade, this one's for you, and we look forward to supporting the advice community further going forwards.
Thanks very much. Well, that concludes tonight's awards ceremony. Congratulations to all the winners, but congratulations and thanks to all of those of you who took the trouble to enter and who were selected as a finalist in this award process. There were a lot of entries, and to be a finalist is to be recognised by a panel of experienced, capable people involved actively in managed accounts as offering real value for advisors and clients. To those of you who didn't win this year, good luck for next year for your involvement. A little about IMAP and the way it's supporting COVID or responding to COVID. We've moved Investec, our technology conference, online. It'll be a series of sessions starting from the 7th of September and running through 12 o'clock each day to the 11th. And later in the year, the last 4 months of the year, we'll be running a set of in-depth webinars which focus in a series approach on areas of particular interest in managed accounts. So congratulations to the winners. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to you being involved in IMAP events from now and into the future. Thanks very much.